Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 88 based on novel. So let's start. Huyang City, a quiet room in the city lord's mansion. Luo Feng, dressed in silver, sat cross-legged. The material of the 10 Directions world he constructed was based on the Silver Mountain Beast King. His robes were naturally condensed from strength, and were tough and indelible. Based on the chaos space, the inner world he opened up became stronger and more stable. I have entered the world of life and am familiar with my own abilities. Next, I should comprehend the secret method of exerting the world of life. Luo Feng looked at his palm, which had endless power. Boom! Luo Feng's palmistry aura suddenly surged. Previously, the forms of creatures imitating the chaos layer could not burn power. But the power of this 10 Directions world form can burn and explode to a greater extent. Luo Feng observed the power that exploded from his palm, but when it explodes, it requires a higher level of mental will. The secret method of burning power also needs to be comprehended. Luo Feng was very fortunate that as a special inheritance of the world life form, there are many supporting secret methods. The only problem is, at the level of the Chaos Realm, it is extremely difficult to comprehend these secret methods. The capital of the Food Kingdom covers a very large area. In the center of the capital is a towering palace, which is the palace of the Lord of Qiankun. In the palace, Big Brother, Lord. The other 4 god kings of the Food Kingdom are obviously addressed differently. When the Wuxiang Patriarch, the Daomo Patriarch and the Qiankun King were at the first level of the God King, they shared life and death, fought together, and established the country together. Even when the Qiankun King became the second level of the God King, they still called each other brothers. The other 2 God Kings, Liu Yu and Kufeng, were invited to join later. At that time, the Qiankun God King was still at the second level of the God King. Everyone. The Qiankun King sat in the main seat. Even when he was sitting there, the horror of his invisible aura still made the other 4 hold their breath. They all knew that the Qiankun King had obtained a more profound Hunyuan bloodline from the Yangfeng ancient country, and he also turned to cultivate the Hunyuan bloodline. His strength was not comparable to that of the newly promoted second level of the God King. The existence of the second level of the God King is a hegemon of one side, and at the beginning, they all wanted to impact the ultimate realm by themselves. Because everyone knows that there are many consequences of cultivating the Hunyuan bloodline. But as time goes by, the second-level God Kings will realize how far away they are from the ultimate God King realm. When the gap is too big, they will despair. They will take another path, relying on external forces. Relying on the Hunyuan bloodline, taking the bloodline path. 6 of the emperors of the ancient country of Yangfeng practiced with the help of the Hunyuan bloodline, which can be regarded as the previous life of the God Kings. Even barely, there were 7 emperors who took the bloodline route. The emperors of the ancient country of Leiting all took the Hunyuan bloodline route. The royal families of the 2 ancient countries have taken this path, which shows that this road can indeed be called a smooth road. All the troubles cannot cover up its greatest advantage, the obvious improvement in strength. After falling into a bottleneck, the powerful beings who are not royal families, one by one, turn to practice the Hunyuan bloodline. Although the Hunyuan bloodline and many auxiliary resources they obtained were far less than those of the emperors and monarchs of the 2 ancient countries, they could still greatly improve their strength. I set up an ambush with my friends in the treasure land, Jianhe, hoping to destroy the real body of the Lord of Yu in one fell swoop. Lord Qiankun said, as long as his real body is destroyed, the Hunyuan bloodline and many resources he paid a great price for will be wasted. This is the defect of the Hunyuan bloodline cultivation path. A lot of resources are in the physical body. Once the real body dies, it can be said to be bankrupt. Relying on the resurrection carrier to practice again, you have to start all over again. And those who rely on their own practice, even if they are reincarnated, can quickly restore their peak strength. The ruler of Yu State was seriously injured and fled to the deepest part of the Jianhe River. We tried every means to hunt him down, but he went wherever there was danger. The ruler of Qiankun shook his head, So my friends and I decided to force him from the outside. The other 4 god kings of Sha state listened. Forced by the outside world? The border between Sha state and U state is advancing towards U state. The ruler of Tiankun said, "Don't be too fast, occupy the chaos states one by one. I want to see if the ruler of U state still has the patience to hide in the Tianhe River." Great. The Wuxiang patriarch heard it excitedly. The ruler of U state does not have the ability to split himself. He only has 2 choices. Either hide in the Tianhe River and watch U state being invaded and reduced, or give up his real body and cultivate a new body to protect the country. Abandoning his true body and practicing again, although his strength has greatly decreased, he is still at the 2nd level of the God King, which is still intimidating. What if the God King of U Kingdom tries to stop him? God King Skull Peak asked. Kill the blocker. The Lord of Tiankun said calmly, "This matter was decided by me and a few friends. The Lord of U Kingdom must be expelled from Tianhe. His Hunyuan bloodline has more advantages than us in exploring Tianhe." The other 4 god kings understood. It is extremely difficult for them, who are at the 1st level of the God King, to enter the most common treasure land, infinite space. The Wuxiang patriarch among them relied on his friendship with his brother and sold himself to the 2 realms palace to have a chance to go to infinite space. More precious treasures? They don't even dare to think about the qualifications to enter. This is the place where the 2nd level God Kings compete. The 1st level God Kings. The most stable way for them to obtain resources is to rely on their own territories. The vast territory is constantly producing various rare treasures of heaven and earth, and there are also residence fees from many cities. Although they are not much, as time accumulates, it is the largest income for the 1st level God King. But the Lord of Tiankun State looked down on the resources in the treasure land, Tianhe. The resources of Tianhe are of great help to them, the water Hunyuan bloodline practitioners. If the Lord of Yu doesn't show up, the other God Kings probably won't dare to take action. If they do, they will hide far away after being destroyed once. The Sword Demon God King said, "But big brother, that Luohe great sage also has a city, Huyang City, on the border. Should we take action?" Luohe? The Lord of Tiankun smiled lightly. "It's just a city, give it to him. Our goal is to force the Lord of Yu." He got it easy. The Wuxiang patriarch said on the side. "You guys make the detailed invasion plan. I only have one request, take action as soon as possible." The Lord of Tiankun ordered, "I want to see if the Lord of Yu can hold back." Yes. The Wuxiang patriarch, the Sword Demon God King, the Liu God King, and the Skull Peak God King responded respectfully. Outside Huyang City, Luo Feng, dressed in silver, was in the forest. He looked at a plant with purple flowers in front of him. When he reached out and touched the purple flower, it began to sway and its aura quickly became stronger. From an ordinary plant, its aura quickly reached the True God level, the Void True God level, and even the Eternal True God level. Bang! The purple flower exploded and turned into ashes. I can't even enlighten an Eternal True God level life form. Luo Feng shook his head gently. There are some ancient beings in the Origin continent who can enlighten God King level combat power. The gap is very big. Luo Feng walked to the red fruit tree next to him and tried to stretch out his hand again. The red fruit tree swayed, and its aura increased greatly. After that, after reaching the Eternal True God level aura, it also completely collapsed and turned into ashes. Try again. Luo Feng tried to enlighten the flowers, plants, and even the stubborn stones one by one, but everything turned into ashes. A strange beast in the distance saw this scene from afar. Seeing that the breath of flowers and plants could reach the level of eternal true gods and turned into ashes, it was immediately frightened and fled far away. What's the problem? Luo Feng was also very depressed, standing in the mountains and forests, thinking hard, where is the flaw in the combination of the 6 branches of life? While thinking hard, the mysteries of the 6 branches of life collided with many times, and suddenly, a complete branch of life emerged in his mind. Luo Feng was stunned. Spiritual branches? Luo Feng had felt it before that as long as he comprehended the 6 major branches of the origin of life, he could easily comprehend them. But he just followed the guidance of the special inheritance and did not deliberately pursue comprehension, but focused on comprehending the high-level secrets at a lower level. And at this moment, without deliberately comprehending, the spiritual branches of life have already emerged in his mind. So this is the complete spiritual branch of life. Luo Feng carefully experienced it. Boom. Boom. When Luo Feng experienced the complete spiritual branches of life, he was touched and understood 2 more branches naturally. These were the 2 branches of the source of life and the body of life that took the longest time to comprehend. The 3 major branches have been comprehended? Luo Feng smiled, feeling the 3 major branches and comparing them with the secret method of the form of the world in all directions. A flash of inspiration emerged in his mind, and he had a deeper understanding of the form of the world in all directions. Suddenly, the remaining 3 major branches also understood naturally. The blood branch is a very famous branch of the origin of life, and many gods and kings of other roads are eager to comprehend it, because it will be of great benefit to cultivate the Hunyuan bloodline through it. Vitality branch, once this branch is achieved, the vitality is extremely strong, even if a divine power is annihilated, it will naturally recover. It is hundreds or thousands of times more difficult to completely eliminate it. Life and death branch. Outside the origin continent, there is a legend that there is a death origin avenue which naturally contains too many aspects. And the death branch of the life origin avenue is only one aspect of life. Only when life has extinction can it have a better rebirth. Accumulating to the end, realizing a branch, but it is a continuous influence, and naturally all 6 branches are realized. Luo Feng was quite happy. Morosa also realized the 6 branches at once. Although there is a slight difference between myself and others, I also realized all 6 branches within the time of a cup of tea. Compared with this, my accumulation of the destruction origin avenue is much weaker. Luo Feng understood this. On the one hand, the mystery of the origin of destruction displayed by Morosa is not as complete and shocking as the original universe's origin of life, and the effect of comprehension is much weaker. On the other hand, most of Luo Feng's energy is on the 10 directions world form. After all, the transformation method is most suitable for this path. Since you have realized it, then become a God King. Luo Feng did not have any thoughts of delaying. Hometown area, Luo Feng Small Universe. Shushin, Luo Ping, Luo Hai and others were moved here one by one, along with their father Luo Honghua, mother Gong Xinlan, younger brother Luo Hua, and Shimo, the child raised by Luo Feng. Luo Feng, why did you call everyone here? Shushin was a little surprised. After all, everyone present had an immortal life, and it was rare for them all to be together. Dad must be in big trouble. Luo Hai looked at his father with great anticipation. The silver-haired boy Shimo stood aside. He was the only true god of the Yuhai lineage cultivated by Luo Feng, and he was full of endless worship for the father god. There is a big thing. Luo Feng looked at his family members whom he cared about most. I am about to break through, and the small universe will expand on a large scale again. This is also the last expansion of my small universe. You can go outside the universe and watch the whole process carefully. According to what Luo Feng knows, the God King level small universe is already in its final form when it is weak. For each level of transformation, the small universe must transform before the God body can transform. If the small universe is destroyed, the strength will not be able to break through. Of course, when you reach the Chaos Realm, if your mind and will are strong enough, you can start a new life with the help of the secret method of reincarnation. And if you become a God King, your future growth will no longer be restricted by the small universe. Even if the small universe is destroyed, as long as the God King's realm is high enough, he can still reach above the ultimate realm of God King. Because the ultimate realm of the God King has already mastered a complete avenue of origin. To comprehend a higher level, it is no longer within the scope of the supreme rules and you have to rely entirely on yourself to grope in the dark. Dad, your small universe is already 1 trillion light-years in diameter. Even bigger? Luo Ping was also shocked. You'll see when you see it later. Luo Feng smiled and said, "Okay, Shimor, you escort everyone out." "Yes, Father God," Shimor responded. Soon, Shimor piloted a secret flying boat and took everyone to a place far away outside the small universe. Last time, Luo Feng took 5 years to grow the small universe from a diameter of 100 billion light-years to 1 trillion light-years. Luo Hongguo looked through the flying boat at the majestic and huge small universe in the distance. "I wonder how big it will grow this time. It's 10 times bigger every time. Could it be possible that this time it can reach a diameter of 10 trillion light-years?" Luo Hai couldn't help but said. "The diameter of the original universe is 10 trillion light-years. Will Dad's small universe become the same as the original universe?" Luo Ping couldn't believe it. In the minds of all living beings in the surrounding area, the primordial universe is very unique. It is huge and is the cradle of countless ethnic groups. All living beings believe that the small universe is inherently far inferior to the original universe. Expanded. Shushin looked outside the flying boat. "I saw that the originally huge small universe suddenly became brighter. Endless energy, as if descending from nothingness, continuously poured into Luo Feng's small universe, causing Luo Feng's small universe to grow rapidly. 1 trillion light-years, 1.5 trillion light-years, 2 trillion light-years. As the size increases rapidly, the volume growth begins to slow down. The speed of energy infusion did not slow down at all, but the volume increased as time went on, and the energy required became much greater. The growth rate of the small universe stunned Luo Feng's family members in the flying boat. Why is the growth so fast this time? It's much faster than last time. Shushin, Luo Hai, and others were all shocked. Because it grew too fast, Luo Feng's small universe reached a diameter of 3 trillion light-years before other practitioners in the surrounding area arrived. There were the true gods of the human race, the masters of chaos, and powerful people from other races. The strong men from all races looked on in shock. The primordial universe has a diameter of 10 trillion light-years. Luo Feng's small universe is now 3 trillion light-years in size and is still growing. From a visual perspective, it is getting closer and closer to the original universe. Why is Luo Feng's small universe so big? The Lord of Chaos City was extremely shocked. When most true gods only had a small universe with a diameter of 100 million light-years, Luo Feng's small universe was already incredibly large. The gap between the two sides is many times greater. Just 3 months. Under the watchful eyes of powerful people from all sides, after 3 months of Earth time, with the influx of incredible energy, Luo Feng's small universe grew to its limit. This. Both people from other ethnic groups and humans looked at what they saw in disbelief. Even though they watched everything happen, it was still too thrilling. 10 trillion light-years in diameter, as big as the original universe. Can a cultivator's small universe also reach this level? The practitioners from all sides thought. At this moment, the incarnation of the original ancestor's divine power was also watching alone. After all, the original ancestor reached the Chaos Realm in the Origin continent and became a guest of the ancient Flame Wind country. He had a broad vision, so he found it even more incredible. I've known for a long time that Luo Feng's small universe is ridiculously large at the same level, but I didn't expect that it would reach the God King level and reach the scale of a small universe that has never been seen in the entire Origin continent. The original ancestor is watching. Even if the God King's small universe grows stronger and strives to repair the cosmic structure, the defects in its foundation when it was born will prevent it from ever reaching this level. Only with the foundation of a perfect life form can there be a perfect level God King miniature universe. Luo Feng's foundation is too deep. The original ancestor secretly said, I believe that Luo Feng will become a prominent figure in the entire Origin continent in the future, and even decide the fate of countless creatures in the Origin continent. The original ancestor went through the reincarnation cycle with Luo Feng, so he could feel Luo Feng's growth rate more clearly. He has Luo Feng's help, inheritance and resources. Luo Feng, however, fought hard on his own and grew much faster than his original ancestor. When I'm at home, I can sweep away all enemies and solve the disaster of world beasts. In the origin continent, he became the God King in a short time. I am witnessing a miracle. The original ancestor was shocked. As soon as this small universe broke through, endless energy came from a mysterious place and was infused on a large scale, which is why the growth speed is so fast. Boom! The energy descended upon the mysterious place, and it also connected this place to Luo Feng's consciousness. The moment their consciousnesses were connected, Luo Feng learned a lot of information. This time of infinite energy infusion is the first and last time. Luo Feng's small universe has reached the same level as the original universe, which is also the maximum level allowed by the entire source world. And after that, Luo Feng's small universe, like the original universe, has an upper limit to the energy it can carry. This is also the reason why most of the original universe is void and dark. Because energy is limited, and even as more and more living beings multiply and their practice becomes stronger, the energy required will gradually exceed the carrying limit and even force the dark void area in the original universe to become larger and larger, and eventually even self-destruct. In the future, I can restrain my small intra-universe group and control its size. Luo Feng thought. This is the difference between having an owner and having no owner. With the Lord, it can be perfectly maintained and even last forever. No owner? If we cannot restrain countless lives, we can only carry out a great destruction and start over again. The small universe is also a gift from the supreme rule to countless practitioners. It can help practitioners better understand the rules governing the operation of the universe. It can increase the speed at which practitioners absorb energy by thousands or even millions of times, so that they can nourish their huge divine bodies. The practitioners in the source world of the origin continent generally have larger divine bodies than those in other source worlds. It is because of the existence of the miniature universe. Luo Feng can sense these messages. The supreme rules are loving and caring towards countless living beings, hoping that they can grow into a towering tree and even give back to the source world. The rules of each source world are different. But they are all for protecting all living beings. The divine bodies in our source world are generally much larger. Is it because of the small universe? Luo Feng understood. Indeed, if one allows his body to absorb the energy of heaven and earth, the speed will be many times slower than that of a small universe. Once the divine body is destroyed, it may take tens of thousands of eons to cultivate it back again. But with a small universe, it would be enough to recover within a century. It turns out that the small universe is a blessing. Luo Feng's consciousness was connected to the mysterious place, and he learned more and also got a glimpse of this mysterious place. Here, there are 9 vast avenues of origin. Time, space, life, destruction, infinity, matter, extreme, world, cause and effect. Every avenue of origin has many aspects. Different observation methods will lead to different observation results. This is the first time I've seen the entire avenue of the origin of destruction. Luo Feng saw the 2 paths of life and destruction most clearly, because he was most familiar with them. He instantly focused his attention on the path of the origin of destruction. The avenue of origin of destruction, at first glance, looks like a dark red horrible monster. Its bloody mouth seems to swallow everything. Looking again, there is an image of the true appearance of the beast, holy and beautiful, without any trace of destruction. In a trance, it seemed like a huge black eye, which made Luo Feng tremble. Because Luo Feng had a very deep understanding of the 6 major branches of the Great Tao of the origin of destruction and had reached a bottleneck, he was able to see many phases of the entire Great Tao of the origin of destruction, which made Luo Feng's understanding much deeper. For a long time, he just comprehended the origin of destruction shown by Morosa. For the first time, I comprehended it completely. Luo Feng naturally gained a lot. I feel that as long as I concentrate on comprehending the 6 major branches of the Great Tao of the origin of destruction, it won't take too long for me to figure it out. Luo Feng suddenly had this intuition. This was the first time he had such an intuition about the origin of destruction. Don't worry. Follow the guidance of the seniors, comprehend the secrets of the higher realms from the lower realms, train your own understanding, and continue to accumulate until you naturally break through. Luo Feng has already become a divine king, so there is no need to rush. Every step must be more solid. The more solid you are, the further you can go. After all, the supreme rules have given me no more. Luo Feng understood this. This time when he became a god king, the infinite energy infusion and the contact of his mind with the supreme rules were the final gifts. After that, it all depended on Luo Feng himself. Luo Feng could also feel the instinctive expectation of the supreme rule. It expected this outstanding child to grow up to be good enough and at some point be able to protect it in return. In this world, there are also crises in the supreme rules? Luo Feng had a vague sense of it. Luo Feng felt that he had little time left to merge his mind into the supreme rules, so he stopped comprehending the great way of complete destruction and started watching other things. 9 Avenues of Origin. Luo Feng saw it. These 9 avenues of origin have not merged with each other. They just influence each other, combine with each other and finally form a complete, supreme rule, everything on the origin continent. The way living beings are conceived, the way they practice, time, space, and other aspects are all determined by the supreme rules. This, Luo Feng tried to see a wider range. He saw it. Saw the entire origin continent. I also saw the cosmic ocean on all sides of the origin continent. The scope of the cosmic ocean is billions of times larger than the origin continent. It's just that the energy is thinner and more empty. Deep at the edge of the cosmic ocean, there are a total of 3,000 primitive universes in different layers of time and space. Luo Feng also saw the original universe in his hometown. Next to that original universe, there was a universe of comparable size, which was his own small universe. A wider range. Luo Feng's consciousness continued to want to spy on a larger area. His perception completely and clearly sensed the entire source world. The vast source world is like a supergiant egg. The core point of the egg is the origin continent and the surrounding area is the endless sea of the universe. The 3,000 primordial universes are just floating points of light. Outside the source world? Outside this giant egg, it was dark and Luo Feng couldn't see clearly. Call. Immediately afterwards, Luo Feng's consciousness was completely expelled from this mysterious place. This opportunity to merge his mind with the supreme rules is also the only chance in Luo Feng's life allowed by the supreme rules. This video will end here.